there's a shifting narrative relative to the tariffs that Trump announced were going to take place yesterday. In fact, what's so hilarious about this, not hilarious for people who have money tied up in the stock market, not people who have their retirement accounts pinned to the stock market, but generally, colloquially, metaphorically hilarious that Donald Trump is talking about all of these things that we've said will have deleterious effects on the economy, on the markets. And then as he's announcing them, the stock market tanked. He's gleeful about what he's doing while he's announcing the stock market is just in a free fall. So much so I was going to read this later. Here's the headline from Barron's. Stock market news for Monday, March 3rd, 2025. The Dow sinks more than 900 points as tariffs loom. The Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ sank after President Trump's confirmed 25% tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico. The only correction is a minor, maybe pedantic correction. The Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ sank after Donald Trump. No, they sank while Donald Trump was announcing that this was going to take place. And here is that moment while Donald Trump is gleeful about it. And then I got another clip where he bashes Ronald Reagan, something the heretofore would have been unheard of for a Republican. It would have been political suicide unless you lead the cult, and then you can say whatever you want about any venerable figure within the Republican Party. That's Donald Trump. So here's from C-SPAN, and then we're going to cut over to Fox News where he's bashing Reagan, and you can watch in real time as the stock market tanks. First, here he is, gleeful about his stupid decision.
On the tariffs, is there any room left for Canada and Mexico to make a deal before midnight? And should we expect those Chinese tariffs, the extra 10%, to take
no room left for Mexico or for Canada? No, the tariffs, they're all set. They go into effect tomorrow.
Mr. President, just to follow up on my colleague's question.
And just so you understand, vast amounts of fentanyl have poured into our country from Mexico. And as you know, also from China, where it goes to Mexico and goes to Canada. And China also had an additional 10, so it's 10 plus 10. And it comes in from Canada and it comes in from Mexico. And that's a very important thing to say. Yeah, please, go ahead.
That's the topic for another video, the fentanyl thing. That's a changing narrative here about what's taking place with the justification for the fentanyl. They're doing it on purpose because people aren't getting behind the tariffs because they see what's going to take place. They see that they're going to be paying extraordinarily larger prices for electronics, for goods out of Canada, for goods out of Mexico. It's going to be a problem for Americans because we will bear the brunt of these tariffs. Doesn't matter to Donald Trump. He's got enough money. He never really pays for anything. It comes out of a campaign expense or the White House covers that expense. He's, it's what it is. But here's the moment where Donald Trump starts denigrating Ronald Reagan about being bad on the economy, bad on trade. And look, there's a lot that could be said about that. It's just, it goes against the Republican canon about the history they like to follow about who the greatest president of all time was. And it used to be Ronald Reagan. Now it's, the third grade minded Donald Trump. But look in the corner while he's talking about Ronald Reagan and his quest to ruin the economy with tariffs, and watch the stock market in real time.
I'm a huge fan of Ronald Reagan, but he was bad on trade, very bad on trade. He allowed a lot of people, a lot of businesses to be taken. So I say that with due respect because he was so great on other things, but he was bad on trade. We are setting records right now, records like nobody has ever seen before. When you have companies like this coming in and almost 40% of their company in one signature is going to be devoted to what he does, which is one of the most important businesses in the world. That's an unbelievable thing. When Apple now is going to start building all of their plants here.
He's destroying the stock market. He will destroy our economy. He will layer on another $10 trillion in debt to the United States, and they will clap. They will support this move. Here's the effects of the of what's taking place right now with the stock market. This is the 5-day outlook here. Red's not good, by the way, if you're unsure. It's green that's good. And if you think, oh, you're just showing us the 5 days. I mean, Donald Trump's only been president for a month and change here. Here's the month outlook. It's also red. Weird. And what you're going to hear, and I don't mean like eventually you're going to hear them do this. I mean, right now you're going to hear them. Here's Larry Kudlow on Fox News as the market is just in a free fall. Him call this, even though Donald Trump's been president already since January, we're March now. Here's Larry Kudlow saying that I want to get the quote right. The Biden economy, what's left of it, looks like it's tanking. You mean the stock market under Donald Trump that is reacting to a policy decision from Donald Trump? That's the Biden economy. Fantastic. Watch this. And then we'll get to the interview that he's promoting with Caroline Levitt.
The Biden economy, what's left of it, looks like it's tanking. Tax cuts and deregulation from President Trump are so important. I sure hope we hear lots about it in the State of the Union message tomorrow. Meanwhile, the stock market down almost 700 points.
Oh, that's so great. The Biden economy. Interesting that, I mean, how long are they going to be able to, every time the stock market takes a free fall, dipping nearly 1,000 points, how many times are they going to call it, or for how long are they going to call it the Biden economy? The Biden stock market, it'll be 2027, and Donald Trump, this Biden stock market's it's real rough for him. But then if the stock market yesterday had tipped up and gone crazy, it would have been the Trump economy. You see, they're really driving home this propaganda point. So much so that what he was doing there was promoting the appearance of Caroline Levitt, the White House press secretary, chief paid propagandist among all the propagandists. And once he gets there, he again is driving home this narrative that this is the Biden economy and it's slumping so badly.
Last one. What's left of the Biden economy is slumping so badly. It's just slumping. This is the legacy of the Biden economy. Will we hear? I want you to tell me, Caroline Levitt. I want you to say, Larry, we're going to have lots of talk about tax cuts and deregulation and energy production and economic growth in the State of the Union message tomorrow. Upbeat, I used to call it growthier, Caroline. We're going to have a growthier speech tomorrow to keep those animal spirits going. Tell me it's all true.
It's all true, Larry. I can confirm the president is going to talk about his economic agenda. And truly, this administration is working around the clock to bring down the cost of living for the American people, to deregulate the regulations that Joe Biden put on every industry across the board. And, you know, tax cuts are a huge priority for this president, and he'll be talking directly to Congress about that tomorrow night.
All right, great stuff. You're really terrific. Caroline.
Working around the clock to bring down the cost of livings for average Americans. You know what she said? Except tariffs, we bear the brunt of tariffs. An importer, if I own a company, I bring in products from Canada, and there's a 25% tariff. I'm the importer. I have to pay that to the American government. I'm an American citizen who owns an American import company bringing products in. I pay that to the government. And then if I'm buying phones, or if I'm buying this sticker with a leopard eating a smiley face's face, and I say, these are made in Canada, and normally it would be $10, we'll say. A 25% tariff is $2.50. So now I've paid that to the government. I'm not just going to lose money on the product. I'm going to charge an extra who knows how much to make up that difference. You will buy the sticker for more than I would have charged because of the tariffs. That's not bringing down the cost of living. That's driving the cost of living up, you propagandist dipshits. But they don't care. And the reason they don't care is because billionaires don't care, and that's who they are protecting. They need to pay for these insane tax cuts that coincidentally the tax cuts they're offering to the richest in this country happen to be the same amount as the cuts to Social Security and other programs, $1.1 trillion. So they're trying to make up that difference because they can't find the cost savings in the budget. They're going to make up the difference with tariffs, they think. By the way, these aren't $10 or $12.50. Dollemore.com, everybody. What a great little learning aid. Yeah, educational aid. That's what that is. Anyway, what do you think? I invite you to this conversation. You can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Please consider supporting this work after you subscribed, which is free. I keep pointing over here like that's where it is. I have no idea where the subscribe button is. They move it around all the time. After you subscribe, which is free, and you want to help support this work with $2 a month, you can click the join button, become a channel member, or you can go to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I'm on the social media just about everywhere at Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. And I will see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.